It is the Mosley Show, and apologies getting going a little bit late today. Important meetings, important rogue meetings. I got my LH, got my local high school, ready to go tonight. Got all kinds of high school action. We got the Bears off this weekend, so for 1 week, we will not have the green and gold our pregame, our game day show, Green and Gold game day show, but we'll be back hardcore. In fact, we're scouting locations as we speak, and it looks like I kind of have a feel for where we'll be, and that will be kind of in the shadows of TCU, the campus, the shadows of Amon Carter, and then we'll head over and take in the game, and that'll be a big time over next week from the TCU campus. And that'll be a fun road show on the Green and Gold game day. Faith Lynch will, of course, be with us. Scotty will be doing his thing. And Scotty, good to be back with the 4K technology. We've got the all the Mosley trimmings. And so that's kind of fun to have that back. We do have some breaking news on the Cowboys front that we need to yes. And so, Scotty, and I may have dropped a word when I was telling you off air what was happening here, but so there was one operative word in this report, and I'm glad I did that off camera. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has decided not to appeal his $250,000 fine for his middle finger gesture last Sunday at MetLife Stadium. The league fine money goes to charity, which Jones is happy to support. Also confident that fans know how much he appreciates all fans, not just Cowboys fans. So even the fans who, we'll never know. We'll never know what Jerry did because you just never know. Like it happened. It could happen to any of us. You go to give a big thumbs up or that's A-OK or whatever the sign might be. And then suddenly the middle finger jumps out at the least expected moment. So you have that. And that was, yes, our long national nightmare has ended, and Jerry is not going to appeal the fine. And then, good shots of Trayvon Diggs at practice today. Cooper Beebe is on the resistance cords. That's good. That's in the rehab. That's when you're getting close to returning. He had the foot and ankle injury, and he's going to be okay. It looks like he's getting close. And a Cowboys linebacker who could really help this defense, DeMarvion Overshown, who, if not for injury, always seems to be on the verge of being a breakout type player on this defense. The former University of Texas player, Brian Schottenheimer, saying earlier today, quote, "We're getting close." Quote, "You don't have to worry about Demo. He's always going to be engaged. Demo is a guy that's going to beat most markers. I do think the timing is getting closer. The timing is getting closer." So that's good news on a couple of injury fronts. And then if you're wondering, okay, who are they going to get back on the offensive line? Jerry Jones said that it's likely Tyler Guyton with a concussion will play Sunday as long as he doesn't suffer any type of setback. Full participant in practice yesterday. So Tyler Guyton back at left tackle. And that is good news. And then the other thing I want to talk about, Scotty Swingler with me as always on this Friday before we have a holiday weekend. Scotty, I did inquire, given that I've got, daughter coming in town for a little bit of fall break after the A&M game. In my own way, I did the whole passive aggressive, hey, my daughter's in town, state fair, just trying to plan my day Monday and, wondering if on Columbus Day, fair day if we were working. And kind of thought if I loaded it that way, it would almost be like, you know what, let's all take the day off. And Scotty, we're working. Okay. We're not, nobody bid on that one. And so
good effort. Good effort.
We're going to be here. And who knows? It might be kind of a shortened deal, but boy, whatever it'll be strong. It'll be extremely strong. And even on today, everybody's in a holiday feel. In fact, there used to be this high-ranking executive at Baylor that the big joke was that I always had him on the holidays, like Labor Day. All the big ones are going into major holiday weekends. That was when I had him on. And so then it became just a running joke. And so I would book him on like the Fridays before Memorial Day or Labor Day. So anyway, that was always kind of fun. But today we'll have someone who was on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday. He's a great friend. He's from the Metroplex. He's from where I live now. And he is he's a big time Texas A&M insider on several fronts. But the Florida's going in there tomorrow. I'll be at the game. He and I will discuss what's going on with Mike Elko and those top 5 Aggies. Yesterday we had Barry Switzer on. That was a lot of fun. And there's a lot going on. All the Texas OU people have come into town. There's a lot of excitement. This morning I jumped on. I was watching the Pete Souza show early. And I always kind of like to see who's jumping on, what kind of crowd we have gathered over there. And so always fun to have everybody. By the way, stop by, visit with us in the comment section. Yesterday we had a big winner in the Schmaltz's trivia question. And there's Schmaltz's. Boy, Scotty is Johnny on the spot right there. Now, Scotty, major story that broke out last night on several fronts. And I know what part of this game you find most interesting. But I don't normally go to bars to watch NFL games, but when I do, I go to one of my neighborhood watering holes, the Lake House, and met my singer-songwriter buddy, Ronnie Foss, big Baylor great, and we watched. We had a lot of things on. You had the horrible ending, sad ending for the Phillies, depending on who you want to win that game. That right there was rough. The bottom of the 11th, bases loaded, 2 outs, weak grounder to the pitcher, just toss it over to first. You go on to the 12th inning. It's the bottom of the 12th. And those Dodgers skated by because the Phillies' young pitcher, I think he may be a rookie. He's very young, relief pitcher, booted the ball. Then he threw wildly to home, and the Dodgers advanced to the NLCS for the 7th time in the past 10 years. All right, so we're watching that on one screen. And on one screen, we're watching greatness. We're watching the New York Football Giants just put it on the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, what a difference a couple of weeks can make. There are the Eagles, 4-0, defending Super Bowl champions, marching toward another great postseason. And then next thing you know, they lose to Denver. They lose to the Giants. And a legend has been born you got to ask the question now, like, who's the best quarterback? I know who's the most accomplished quarterback in the NFC East, but you got Dak in the MVP race. You got Jaden Daniels from the Commanders, who's always great, and you've got Jalen Hurts, who's just keeps going to Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl, just an incredible player, and now you have the great Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, and what a game it was! He was running, he was moving. Now there was some crazy controversy that came from that game that we will address in a moment. And I would hope this would never happen on a Baylor sideline. This was ugly, and this was old. This is like, this was almost like high school type stuff. This is like, and by the way, high school coaches are so great, I shouldn't even say that. This was, Brian Daboll deserves the blowback he's getting, even on a night when he pulled off an incredible win. But, Scotty, I want to give you an opportunity. The man we call Scattaboo, Cam Scattaboo from Arizona State, was a mid-round draft pick. I think we thought, he was fun. He was a fun college player. He's let's not act like the white running back. It's not a.
Stop it. You speak for yourself, Matt.
It's not really thought to be a path to success. Fullbacks, maybe Mike Allstott, the Moose, but Cam Scattaboo.
Listen, that ain't where my head was at in April. I didn't understand how that man did not have a first round grade, because it's not just that he's a bowling ball. He is quick, man. Like the jump cuts he makes to get in and out of holes are as good as anybody. He is hard to tackle, and it's not just because he's tough, although I think he is already one of the toughest players in the NFL. Pete and I were both big Scattaboo fans last year, but I don't know how you could watch him at Arizona State last year and not recognize how his game would translate. I was tweeting all 3 rounds prior to when he got selected in the 4th. Cowboys need to take Scattaboo. I want the Cowboys to take Scattaboo. Cowboys need Scattaboo. Man, I don't know how all these teams passed on him 3 or 4 times.
I've already said it, why they passed on him.
Because he's white?
Yeah, show me a bunch of white running backs in the NFL. Absolutely, that was held against him.
Yeah,
I'd
rather watch the tape of how he plays football, and that dude can play football, man.
He didn't touch all the bases. He did not have the speed that other backs have. He probably didn't run what did he run? Do you remember? Or I guess we can look it up. He probably ran. I'd be shocked if he ran a 4.5. He probably ran a 4.6.
He ran a 4.6.
Okay.
Plenty of running backs don't run a 4.5 or a 4.4.
You're wrong about that. There's not a ton of NFL running backs getting drafted that run 4.6s. Maybe Derrick Henry. Maybe like some big, huge backs from the past.
Derrick Henry is one of the fastest.
Okay, but I'm just saying, there's not a lot of running backs that are going early. You're saying why did Scattaboo not have a first round grade? Because they're trained to take running backs who run 4.4s and 4.5s. They don't. The
average NFL running back runs a 4.5. I just looked it up.
Okay.
So that means you got some that run 4.3s, you got some that run 4.6, and it averages out at 4.5. He's slightly below average. If you watched him play at Arizona State.
But you said a first round grade. You couldn't find me any first rounders running backs that ran a 4.6.
Well, and which rookie running back looks like he's going to have the best career in the NFL? Not Ashton Genty.
I love it. I don't know. Genty, he's with the Raiders.
I understand he's at a bad team.
Let's give Genty some time. But
let's not pretend like the Giants were a dream landing spot for anybody either.
Oh, no, I get that totally. I mean, he's the one, and I don't think the Giants will end up doing anything this season. They're playing better.
Yes.
But no, I love it. I love Scattaboo as a player, but I, like most of the people, obviously, who were drafting him, thought that he was more of a college, like an excellent, great college football player. I mean, it's not like Arizona State is relatively new to us. I don't think most people knew about Scattaboo before last season. And then he came on like gangbusters. I mean, he was a great college player, but I'm telling you,
against the best defense in college football last year, which was the Texas Longhorns, and several players on that defense who got drafted. He had 143 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, 99 receiving yards, and a 42-yard passing touchdown. I don't care what your size is, what your 40 time is, what the color of your skin is. That dude showed in that game against Texas, he wasn't some Big 12 anomaly taking advantage of bad defenses. He was a player, man. And I just love, and I love seeing guys I liked in college have success, but I don't know. I'm particularly frustrated by, and it happens at all positions. It happens with quarterbacks too. We fall in love with measurables instead of what's on tape. And what was on tape for Cam Scatterbo last season all year was this man can catch the ball to the backfield. This man does not go down between the tackles. He is quick laterally, great vision, finds the hole, finishes runs.
Yeah.
And dadgummit, that's what's on tape. And so I am not surprised. And I think it's funny that, and I'm not saying this is you, I think it is funny the people that are acting surprised that suddenly he's doing the same thing in the NFL. I'm not surprised. Like, he was remarkable last year.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
I love it. And we'll see, if he sustains it. And but the fact that he's doing it behind, let's not act like, year after year, we talk about the Giants never getting their O-line right and having injuries and all like that. So don't get me wrong. I love the player then. I just understand why. There aren't white 4.6 running backs ever getting taken in the first round. So
there's only one Cam Scatterbo, baby. There's only one.
I hope he continues down this path. I love it. I love seeing him play well. All right, we do have major guest at 2. We need to do some Campus Confidential, and we got stuff breaking around college football. John Mateer will bring you the latest on his status for Texas OU. We got a lot of ground to cover. And I'm hardwired in a lot of ways, a lot of areas, but there's some internet stuff going on with me in my life that could end up being much better. Let's keep our fingers crossed, Scotty. We may have entered a new era of the Mosley Show, 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, whenever else we feel like it. There'll be late nights we come on after Baylor games. There'll be reaction pieces that we do. We'll do a lot with the Mosley Show stream. But right now, we're going to do some Campus Confidential. Let's do it next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Drive in the fall at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco. Huge savings and the best selection in Central Texas. From powerful Ram trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, to adventure-ready Jeeps and stylish new Dodges, we've got the right ride for you. Upgrading, downsizing, or buying your very first vehicle, Allen Samuels has you covered with friendly service and deals that make driving fun. Don't miss the Drive in the Fall event, only at Allen Samuels.
Come by, let's be friends.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge.
Yes?
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who is Peggy?
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Welcome back, Mosley Show. We love Underdog, and thanks for their support of the Mosley Show. I play just about every week, usually a couple times a week. By the way, while I've got the microphone, Sick'em Bears, thanks for commenting on the show. Appreciate anybody that wants to jump in the live chat. Scattaboo is a baller. I agree. He also points out Christian McCaffrey is white. But by the way, I haven't looked up Christian McCaffrey's time. I have a feeling it was like 4.4, 4.3. That dude is an anomaly. But so is Scattaboo. Hey, I didn't pick NFL on my Underdog picks this week. I might have to do that tomorrow. I'll update you Monday if so. These were my Underdog picks for tomorrow's college football matchups. Usually I like to pick some Baylor players. No Baylor game tomorrow. This is what I've got. And I'm going to talk about this in a second. One of these picks you may need to adjust as you pick along with me to try to win some money here. But Haynes King, higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. That man is a tank on the ground. He is the engine that makes the Georgia Tech car run, and he is almost guaranteed to get a rushing touchdown, in my opinion. The biggest matchup in college football this weekend, Oregon hosting Indiana. Both these quarterbacks are currently the top two projected quarterbacks in the 2026 NFL draft. I've got Dante Moore with higher than 2.5 passing touchdowns. Fernando Mendoza, higher than 1.5. Oh, come on. That's a gimme. Both these guys have not failed to hit these marks except for once each this season. Sam Levitt was my pick. He has been downgraded to doubtful for this matchup against Utah. Now, what's great about Underdog is since he was injured, it actually will not count against me on my picks. And if I get these other three right, I will still win money. If a player gets injured after you submit your picks, you can still win money. So I would encourage you, submit these top three: Haynes King, Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, higher. These guys are going to ball out tomorrow. And if you do the flex option, you only have to get 2 out of 3 right to win money. And if you get all 3 right, you win even more money. It's a great way to kind of insurance your picks. I think that's a great thing about Underdog. Again, use that promo code Mosley. They'll give you $50 in bonus cash when you spend $5 just to play more Underdog. It is a great time. And man, Matt, I'll tell you what, as we get ready to bring you back, if someone played Underdog yesterday and had Cam Scattaboo higher on whatever his touchdown number was, I guarantee they won some money.
Wow. It is it's a Scattaboo Central. We're celebrating Scattaboo. And we didn't even get to what the crazy story was coming out of that game. We'll do that later in the program. I did want to say today's introductory news conference, I've been kind of watching snippets of it. Skip Schumacher introduced as the Texas Rangers, their new manager. And so good to see him. I think he'll be good. I think he'll do a good job. And he's beloved in a lot of areas. He's a former Cardinals player, and to a lot of Rangers, Rangers fans, they have a tough time with some of those former Cardinals because of what happened in that World Series in 2011. But he and Adam Wainwright, the longtime St. Louis Cardinals pitcher, are very, very close friends to this day. And I think Schumacher is someone who was destined to be a great manager and was already off to an incredible start with the Marlins. And then, like the Marlins do, they're like, let's start over. Let's trade everybody off. We got a really good team this year. We had a great year. Let's just blow everything up. And he was the manager when they did that. And so he opted to go elsewhere, ends up with the Rangers, and that's how they end up with this manager. Now, before we get ready to do a big-time interview at 2 o'clock with none other than Travis Brown, noted Texas A&M insider, Scotty, what do you have for us in the world of Campus Confidential today?
Yeah, real quick, just catching you up on some stories here. Some of these we've talked about all week. Number one, fuel to the fire. Did you see that North Carolina's student body president has called for an independent investigation of the culture within the football program? Now, this ultimately, Matt, I don't know if this means anything, but I just have to tell you, if you've already lost the student body on campus halfway through a football season, it's a bad look, bro. It's a bad look. So just to pile on to all of it feels like every day this week we had the UNC is tired of Belichick already news. Now the student body president has weighed in and has said it's a toxic culture inside the football program and there needs to be an independent review. Yikes.
It's very disturbing. We all know how this is going to end. Maybe he'll make it to the end of the season. Maybe he won't, but it's not sustainable and it has to go on. And this feels a little like grandstanding, but I like it. I approve. The student body president. Generally, I would think the student body president at UNC is probably either interested in maybe academic pursuits or the basketball program, which is the more well-known program, the men's basketball program there on campus. Even the baseball team has been known to show up in Omaha from time to time. But to call for an investigation into the football program, very funny, and I think time well spent, and probably a little bit of overkill. But when there is this is a big pile on that's happening, and they have earned it. They have earned it with their laughable handling of the girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, and then everything that has come from then on, and then even the hubris that would cause someone who was the greatest NFL coach of all time, but to just kind of think they could show up in Chapel Hill, bring in about 70 new players, and because of their football brilliance, they would be okay. They would be moving forward. It's interesting because, like, if you think about it, Scotty, Deion, his first season at Colorado, from a record standpoint, wasn't that much different. And they got beat in some games pretty badly by teams that weren't that great. But I guess he just came across, and there was so much more excitement, and he just seemed from the very start, even though it was different, and people were probably rooting for him to fail, just like they are with Belichick, there just seemed to be more credibility to what he was trying to accomplish. And Belichick is secretive, weird, only his family members are involved. I mean, Deion is almost open to a fault, and he's got family members involved in everything he does too. But they just come across so differently. And so, yeah, this is going to continue to go the wrong direction. Scotty, what else do we have in some Campus Confidential?
Well, Matt, I know one of the games you're most intrigued by is this Red River rivalry matchup. We talked yesterday about the great Baker Mayfield, all-time passing leader in a single Red River game. That was our trivia contest yesterday. The great John Mateer had surgery just about 2 weeks ago, broken or fracture on his thumb, on his throwing hand. All week we've heard he is trying to get back, but not practicing. He was upgraded last night, Matt, from questionable to probable on the injury report. My suspicion is they're going to let him try to go. I have no clue, Matt, just to be honest. I don't have any comparable injury history or football history to John Mateer, but I just can't. I did break a big toe once. I can't imagine being able to throw just a week or two removed from surgery like this. But hey, if he can, it'll be quite the story. On the other hand, Matt, the counterpoint, kind of a surprise. Sam Leavitt at Arizona State is listed as doubtful for tomorrow's matchup against Utah, Coach
Ooh.
Dillingham revealing he had some sort of injury, a minor injury against Baylor, actually, here in Waco. And he did play last week, but he is going to likely sit this game out against Utah, which that's a big game for Arizona State if they want to stay in this Big 12 title hunt. And they may be doing it without their star quarterback, Sam Leavitt. So Mateer is going to try to go. Leavitt likely to miss.
Okay. The Leavitt thing, that's a rough, because they are in the race. And yes, the Bears had a shot at them. The Bears almost only got beat by field goal. And let's remember, Baylor was -3 in takeaways that game. One of the worst takeaway teams in the league, although had the huge pick six that helped them beat Kansas State. And Kansas State comes into another, they come into that TCU game desperately needing a win. I believe K-State is 2-4. That's a major struggle for them right now. Interestingly, one of the Vegas trends I try to look at, Vegas Insider is a good one because they give you pretty much every possible spread. And yes, they do vary some, but interestingly, from yesterday and even the few days before, Scotty, this thing has switched. I think we were kind of predicting this along the way, although we were a little surprised that Texas was ever favored because of the way they were playing, the way Arch was playing, and we thought maybe that they just didn't know the Mateer thing. It has flipped, and the Sooners are favored in pretty much every line I'm seeing. And Sooners, it's going up to 1.5 on some. I would say the majority are Sooners by a point. And maybe that's Mateer being upgraded to probable had that effect. I would also say, sometimes, again, as we get closer to kickoff, there's going to be some big money that come in on that game because people love betting Texas, as we've talked about. They love betting the Cowboys too. So there is that as we continue to kind of help you in that regard. Oh my gosh, we're ready, man. It's 2. How did it become 2:00 already? Jeez. All right, we have a major guest, and Travis Brown will join us next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
All right, it is the Mosley Show, and our next guest, he'll like this. I'm going to get this logo so he can see it. It's game night. The Lake Highlands Wildcats are heading off to Jesuit tonight. Big district matchup. Travis Brown, you know him from TV, longtime writer, great newspaper man, and boy, now he is major TV guy, video as well. Travis, the Wildcats are in no one's really going to challenge them in this district, but I will go over tonight to Jesuit, where by the way, when they, most high school games, Travis, they don't tailgate like at A&M. They're not openly out there drinking on campus and that kind of thing. Jesuit's a little different. Right there on campus, buddy. They'll get with it a little bit. Welcome back to the Mosley Show. Great to have you, man.
Yeah, Jesuit's a nice little spot to take in a high school football game. I've been there once or twice in my career, so not a bad venue setting for a high school game. Doing pretty good over here. Gearing up for a big game this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm going to be there. This will be the Ags host Florida, and I love how Trav people build teams up. They beat University of Texas, and now when you start hearing people talk about Florida, and I guess they're trying to do A&M a favor by pumping Florida up. But I heard some of you, like Josh Pate or somebody basically saying that when Florida is on, like when they're at their best, they are a top 10 team. And I'm like, well, okay, didn't really think so against South Florida. But I guess what they're talking about is they do have the talent. They do have a very talented quarterback in DJ Lagway. And I think that's good for A&M, because what you don't want to do is you've had Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida. You're in a great place right now. You're top 5 in the country. This is no time to start resting on your laurels. What do you think about this? What you're hearing about this Florida team, and where do you think the respect level that the Ags have for this team coming in?
Well, to quote one of the all-time Matt Mosley show reoccurring guest Gary Patterson, I think Florida has a lot of paper tigers. It's on paper, it's a very, very talented squad, and one that when you look at the preseason rankings that there was some pretty high expectations for, and they got off to a pretty slow start. I think it's probably going to be one of the better defenses that A&M has seen so far this season, and that's including Notre Dame and Mississippi State had a pretty solid defensive front last week. So I think there is that. If the offense can click like it was clicking against Texas, then yeah, it's a pretty good team, but that's a one game case study. They haven't really had that offense for most of the season. Part of that is Dallas Wilson, the true freshman, who kind of had his coming out game last week. And they were able to run the ball a little bit, which hasn't necessarily been something that's been consistent through the season. So, if the team that shows up against Texas shows up, it's a pretty good ball club, but you got to, DJ Lagway's got to minimize the turnovers. I don't know. I think it can be a salty Florida team, but they haven't certainly proved that they can do that week in and week out.
Yeah, and the Aggies get some players back. Scooby Williams, I noticed you talking about the some of the players that will be back for this game. By the way, Elko made me laugh the other day because he said something about, so this is going to be like the 1975 Emory Ballard throwback uniforms. Not that we don't talk about uniforms sometimes, but Travis, this year, it's not just A&M. It's like everybody's constantly having a blackout. By the way, was there grumbling over like the yell leaders having those all blacks? Because one thing A&M does more than any school in the country is its traditions. And they got a little away from some traditions with the black end zones, the yell leaders in black. Even Miss Reveille had a black patch over the eye that sadly she lost. And we lost Reveille 9, I believe, recently, and that was sad. The Rainbow Bridge, we like to call it, when dogs run into some issue. When we lose a dog, we talked about the Rainbow Bridge. But was there some A&M grumbling over some of the changes and some of the things that they did with those uniforms?
Well, Matt, I know how much of an A&M traditionalist you are. So if you can get out of that show quickly and get down here for 5:00 tonight, maybe go ahead and skip the Lake Highlands game. You can go to Rev 9's funeral over there in the north end zone to Kyle Field. So you can go ahead and put that on your calendar. I know you might be changing some plans for that.
Wow.
the black yell leader uniforms, I think the line of demarcation on that is drawn at about, maybe midway through Gen X. If you're older than that, you absolutely hated the blackout, and you hated that the yell leaders were in different uniforms, and you probably wore maroon to the A&M game, even though the instructions were to wear black. But if you were younger than that, you absolutely loved it. Now, I tell you what, I have never maybe heard a singular crowd pop as loud as when they first showed Rivalry with her pirate eye patch on, maybe the Jolly Rev, if you will. When that got shown on the Jumbotron, she ran out. I mean, the crowd went wild. So, Mike Elko's trying to shake it up a little bit. He talks a lot about it's a very traditional school and keeping to that tradition, but doing things every now and then that kind of make it exciting a little bit for the younger generations, and sticking to tradition, but making it a little fun. And so that's a little bit what they're trying to do with these. And, those apparel contracts they have that with Adidas down here. They like to, roll out some merch and do some things where they can sell a few more jerseys and a few more ball caps and whatnot. So a little bit of that, but yeah, a little bit of grumbling. A lot of people really liked it. It's, half and half probably.
As a decorated local reporter, Travis, I would absolutely expect you to attend that funeral. That will be interesting to see how many people attend it, like what is said. I would think that'll be very solemn. This will be a very solemn time. And for people that don't know, we're not making light of this, because we love animals and we both have dogs, but they do have a A&M Rivalry graveyard, and they have a scoreboard near the graveyard. So the dogs can ostensibly, and the souls of the dogs, however you want to say that, can keep up with what's happening in the stadium. So, Trav, you were very enterprising, and the truth is you may have some things going on at 5:00 today, but I think there's part of you that wants to go over there and be at that funeral and see what that's like. I know you.
I do want to check it out. We will, KBTX will have a reporter over there. I am going to be a little tied up making sure that we have reporters at all of our local high school games. But
okay.
I will be sure to read that report. Back in the day, it used to be like a full military funeral, because of course she is the highest ranking member of the Corps of Cadets, and I think in recent years kind of backed off that a little bit. So it's a spectacle to be sure.
And I like that Elko said that the throwbacks he did not have a hand in, because Elko strikes me as a guy who would be like, I don't care what they wear, blah blah, kind of have that attitude, and yet he actually said in the whatever they're doing next year, I guess it is, or there's some kind of upcoming, or maybe it's a retro or whatever uniform they're going to have next year. He said that he will have a hand in the design. And I found that very interesting, because I would think most college football coaches would not really care too much about that. And Elko's got his hand in everything.
Oh, no. Mike Elko is the CEO in the fullest extent of the definition. He likes to have his hand in a little bit of everything. He likes to be involved with the uniforms. He likes to be involved with, checking in on what the narratives and the scuttlebutt is around the team and the local media. He has his hand in everything and likes to have a little bit of control of everything. So it does not surprise me at all. And these uniforms things kind of run in like 2-year cycles per se. So this next year would be the first that Elko would kind of have an opportunity to. And I think you'll start to see some stuff that he really has his hand in, and there might be some changes and some added flair to some of this stuff, because he likes kind of incorporating some of that stuff and being involved.
All right. One of Central Texas's favorite sons is Torian York. Unbelievable. Some of these games he's having, I believe it was that last game, just putting up big numbers, the leadership. I mean, he really, it's interesting because so much was made, Travis, about that 22 class, right? And losing so much of that class, even though at one point they were considered the number one recruiting class in the country. But because of various Jimbo, whatever, that class didn't hold together. But around that time, Torian York shows up on the scene from Temple, Texas, from Temple High School, a former Baylor commit, I might add. And I mean, in a lot of ways, if this is to be a top 5, top 10 program moving forward, if this is to be a team that breaks through and goes to the playoff, and again, we talk about several players who also have had a huge impact, but he's the holdover, he's the glue, and that's got to be, and apparently he wants to coach. I saw Elko talking about that. He wants to coach in his future, and he'll probably play in the NFL, obviously. But can you put in perspective, Travis, what his presence has done for Texas A&M, for that program, and then even kind of what he's meant for Elko personally in trying to kind of put his stamp on the program?
Yeah, well, first off, great kid. I mean, a lot of times when we talk to these players, they are limited in their time and they don't necessarily let their personality show. And we've gotten to talk to Torian York a lot, and he's a guy that really does let his personality show. And he's just a great all around kid. And he's made no qualms about the fact that since he got here, he wants to be a Texas high school football coach. He loves high school football. He loved being a part of all that at Temple. And just a side note to all of that, his Temple team played that Willis team twice while he was in high school that DJ Lagway, the Florida quarterback, was on. I believe he won both of those games. I need to go back and double. I know he won at least one of them. He has a winning record against DJ Lagway so far. So that's a little bit of a rivalry that goes back to the Texas high school football days. But very smart kid. He really knows how to study the film and get into that because he kind of approaches it with that coach's mindset. And, kind of something interesting Mike Elko said that I hadn't really thought about up until this year is that so many kids who play linebacker at the college level were former high school quarterbacks, running backs, different positions that have to know the whole field and integrate into that linebacker position once they get to college. But he's played linebacker his whole career. And it's a position he knows so well. So he can play quickly and not necessarily have to think too much about where he's going to be. But he's a really strong leader. I mean, it's telling that he was the Mike linebacker, the guy that has the green dot with the communication device in his helmet when he was a true freshman. And was in there calling the plays and getting the defense lined up as a true freshman. He's been that position. He was a team captain as a sophomore, a two-time SEC Media Day attendee. And so I think you're spot on. There's a lot of glue to that Aggie defense that revolves around Torian York. And you mentioned Scooby Williams earlier, a guy who had kind of been his partner in that 4-2-5 type defense. And he had a strong start to the season, got injured in the Notre Dame game and has been out. And then Damian Sanford has stepped up and maybe actually been A&M's strongest defensive player since the Notre Dame game, which is saying something because Torian's played really well. Cassius Howell leads the SEC in sacks, but Damian Sanford has been really, really good. And it's looking like Scooby Williams might actually be able to be back this game. Mike Elko has a decision to make because both of those guys have played really good football, Scooby and Damian. And who is going to line up beside and get the most amount of snaps beside Torian York is going to be something to watch in this game.
Where is the Aggie trust level right now? Because the thing I keep hearing people say is if Marcel Reed can kind of elevate his game or take his game to the next level, there's no reins on this thing. But I still don't think people have complete trust in him. He certainly is surrounded with, Mario Craver and KC Concepcion. I just don't think there are two better portal additions when it comes to skill players in the country. They're the top duo in numbers. Every way you look at it, they are remarkable. Obviously A&M's now in the top 5 in the country. I can't say that Marcel Reed, though, it's not like he's in the Heisman talk or anything like that. What's going on with him? Like, has he been kind of uneven, fine when you need him to? It does seem like they're really leaning on the defense and then hitting some big plays when they need to. But I'm not sensing, and I'm not watching it as closely as you are, but I'm not sensing that he's playing great all the way through games.
Yeah, so I wrote a column about this to start out the season, and that's the fact that with the talent that A&M has at wide receiver, at running back, experienced offensive line, all that, Marcel Reed didn't and doesn't need to be elite this season for A&M to be really successful. He just needs to be a Kellen Mond-like game manager who takes care of the ball and gets the ball where it needs to be to move the chains. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be elite at some point in his career, but they don't need that because he has a lot of safety nets around him in this offense. And I think he's been exactly that this season. Really the only knock that you can have against Marcel Reed is that the deep ball hasn't been there. But you look, we have a weekly segment here with former A&M offensive coordinator Daryl Dickey, and I asked him about that, the deep ball, because they'd really tried to go deep a lot against Mississippi State in the first half. A lot of play action pass to balls to Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, who got over top the defense, and he just couldn't. He was overthrowing a lot, just couldn't connect. And Daryl Dickey said it's a low percentage pass to begin with, but just the fact that you're making that pass and he's not turning it over can actually set the stage for the second half. And A&M in the second half was able to find a lot of those intermediate passing routes, some of the shorter passing routes that can turn into bigger plays in the passing game, because they made the defense have to think about the fact that they have wide receivers that can go over the top. And if Marcel connects on one of those, he did a 36-yard touchdown on a little comeback route to Casey Concepcion in the first half that worked out really well. They have to start thinking about it, and they can't cheat up on that defense, and it opens up that shorter game, passing game, the intermediate game that they were able to exploit a little bit in the second half. And it also opens up the running lanes, which has been really, really good for A&M over the last 2 weeks. I mean, Reuben Owens and spelling Le'Veon Moss had a career high 140 something rushing yards. So I actually don't think, Marcel hasn't been the highlight of the offense. He's probably been the Concepcion and Craver have been the two guys that really are the top weapons, the stars of the offense this season. But Marcel has been every bit of a point guard, being able to get them the ball in places where they can go make plays. And that's how the offense is cranked. If you really want to talk about the offense struggles, they should have scored a lot more points against Auburn. But the fact of the matter is they had 13 penalties for 119 yards, and they were constantly behind the chains. They managed over 430 yards of offense in that game, which should have resulted in a lot of points, but they were constantly taking holding penalties and a few even personal fouls that got them way behind the chains. Honestly, the Auburn game was maybe one of the most balanced games they've had at A&M in a long time. The offense, when it wasn't taking penalties, was moving the ball well. The defense was just absolutely lights out. That was a championship caliber team. The game just didn't look like that, the final score, because of penalties. So penalties are a big factor in that. I think that's what's made it look like the offense hasn't been as good as it is. But by my estimation, Marcel Reed has been fine. He's done exactly what they need him to do. He hasn't been Heisman caliber, but he's been a perfectly good winning quarterback, and he has that clutch gene. If you look at how he was able to lead that drive back against Notre Dame, he's been fine.
All right. By the way, Lake Highlands tailgate, which you have to have tickets to, but if you show up, we'll just sub you right in. That begins at 2:00. And I know you get to games early, but if there's any way, I'll tell you kind of where it is. And if it's somewhere in your route, we would love for you to make an appearance and peek in. You'll be proud of my daughter who goes to A&M. A lot of the kids are coming home for fall break and not staying for this game, right? Because they can leave today and come on home. And she is hanging in there, and she's going to go to the game instead of doing what a lot of students are doing and leaving. But something tells me, even with a lot of students leaving for fall break, that they'll still be more than 100,000 strong there at Kyle Field. And I'm telling you this, and Scotty, my producer, gets a little, they're making fun of me because they think because my daughter's there, I'm talking too much Ags. They think I've become a little bit Ag friendly, but
you and Bob Sturm.
Yeah, well, and that's right. He sent a kid there, but he's a little more Aggie Bob than I am Aggie Matt. I promise you that. But I will say, from a game presentation standpoint, and some of this came up sadly in the context of Baylor had a miserable crowd against K-State at 11 a.m. game, and what A&M has done, and you've seen it, Travis, they found a way to marry the old Army, that group, and the band and all the chants and all that stuff that's still fun and still part of things with the music, the rap, they finally have they thread the needle. It probably took them a while to get there, but I will say their entrance is probably as good as like any in the country. And again, I haven't been to everything. I've been to a lot. I don't know if you're biased because you have to cover a lot of home games there, but you've now been to most SEC venues. There may be one or two you haven't been to. Does anybody rival like the A&M build up and walk out? Like what is the Death Valley? Does what LSU do? Like is A&M as good if not better than every other venue now?
Every program kind of has their own thing and tradition. Probably if you want to talk about pregame pomp and circumstance, and A&M is probably up there amongst the best in the SEC. The only one that I think rivals in just kind of coolness is Auburn, where they fly the eagle around before the game. That's always a pretty cool sight to see. But the one that I think was actually maybe my favorite, and us going back to us, religious boys, is the Notre Dame walkout, because they have a live camera in the locker room just minutes before the game starts, where they show the team doing the very football monotone Lord's Prayer live in the locker room, and then as soon as they finish it, they run out of the locker room into the tunnel, and they have a live camera on the "Play Like a Champion Today" sign that they're hitting it, and then all of a sudden they're out on the field. Like that was goosebump territory for sure. So I think that is pretty cool. But yeah, the pregame stuff with A&M is pretty great. When you talk about the teams around I can't think of one around the SEC that that's their thing. Alabama, they have the Champions Walk, where the players come off the buses and everybody's singing "Sweet Home Alabama." Death Valley at night, it's more about during the game when they're doing Calling Baton Rouge and just being wild and rowdy during the game. That is pretty awesome. But yeah, A&M kind of has a market cornered on the pregame run out. And you want to talk about big games, not only is Matt Mosley going to be here, Greg Sankey is going to be here. I just got the word. So the big man, the two big men themselves will be in College Station this weekend.
And those two big men used to have lunch together back in the day when he was commissioner of the Southland Conference. He was a little bit different Sankey back then. Man, it'll be fun. And here's the deal, Trav. A&M, and I don't know if Paul Feinbaum brought this up, but the truth is there aren't the traditionally like one or two superpowers. Like Ohio State's good, but they have an inexperienced quarterback. Oregon, same way. They may have the second best quarterback in the country right now from a Heisman standpoint, but we still don't know that much about Dante Moore. Like, I don't know if this is the greatest Oregon team of the past 5 years. They're good. They're really good. So with A&M bringing in these portal folks, with them being stacked at running back and receiver and really good on the O-line, they're getting graded out beautifully on the O-line. And we know they're stacked at linebacker and D-line and pretty good in the back end. I would say, Travis, I think not to jinx them or anything like that, but like there's really nothing standing in the way of A&M making a run at this thing. Like, again, that Death Valley is the game looming in a couple of weeks. that's the scariest one. Because
I actually think Missouri might be the scarier one at Missouri, because what has LSU's offense really shown that they're able to do? If A&M can really go out there and put some points on the board against a good LSU defense, like can LSU hold up? It's that Missouri offense that I think has been the scariest so far.
Does Elko have a daughter like college age, like Kiffin's daughter's age, or not? Are they older than that?
He has 2 boys that are college age, but his daughter, I think, is still in high school. Yeah.
All right. We don't have to worry about that. That was the Whit Weeks and the Kiffin deal. Did you watch all the Kiffin stuff, by the way, the documentary and all? I have to say that the Kiffin 30 for 30, you need to look at it. It gave me a little more appreciation for him. Like, I've got a little more, I don't love him, but I feel a little bit better toward Lane Kiffin than perhaps I did before that.
Well, the SEC always had these characters of coaches when you go back to Steve Spurrier or Les Miles or even Ed Ogeron, or when you went to media days, you're excited to hear what these guys had to say. And Kiffin is kind of the one that's holding up that mantle right now, because it's a lot of straight shooters in the SEC. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz has kind of stepped up into that a little bit as well, jumping on Kellen DeBoer's SEC teleconference to ask him what he's wearing at the game. That was a pretty good little bit. Yeah, we have a lot of bits in the SEC right now, and that's a shame, because we need a little bit more in these trying times where everything is up in the air and no one knows who the top guy is. We need a little bit more of whimsy in the SEC right now.
The thing I would like you to write or do a TV piece on is just especially we'll have to see what happens Texas OU game. Anything could happen there. But if the Sooners win, this would be a good time to do it. And if A&M wins, that's what makes this, honestly, I think, even more fun for Aggies right now. They're top 5. Texas was number 1 to start the season. They're unranked and all sorts of misery, and Arch hadn't really worked out. And so I think there's a piece to be written or a TV thing to be done on that aspect of it. Like, what makes this experience even more fun for Aggies is that the Longhorns are just in misery, and it's killing them to see A&M on the come up when they expected they might be playing for another playoff, have a shot at a national title. And now, I mean, my gosh, they may be lucky to win 7 or 8 games. I think there's something there, Travis, too, because I do think that aspect of it makes the hardcore Ags even have more fun with this, that Texas is going so poorly.
But the hardcore Ags also have that built-in existential dread that I don't think they're letting themselves get ahead the cart before the horse on that, because this team is 5-0. It's the first time they've done that to start the season since 2016. That was the Trevor Knight year with Kevin Sumlin, where they went 6-0, got ranked number 4 in the first college football playoff rankings of the season, and then went out to Mississippi State and lost and ended the season 8-5. I think most of the Aggies I'm talking to still don't know where this thing is going and don't want to get the cart before the horse, because that baked in existential dread of being an Aggie still exists there. And I don't know if any of them are gonna maybe when they actually, if they beat Texas in Austin this year, they'll allow themselves a little bit of that. But they're thinking it, but I don't know if they're gonna say it out loud yet, not to jinx it.
Get these games over with. Texas OU and A&M Florida, and then America, Feinbaum, Travis Brown. We can all talk about what really matters, and that is the Rivalry. That is Baylor and TCU. Getting it on next weekend. The Mosley Show and our Green and Gold Game Day, our pregame show, will be on campus at TCU. And what we're zeroing in on, Trav, which you'll like, that log cabin area, I don't even totally know what that is. What is that? Is that like
yeah, I don't know what that is. There's a lot of stuff over there that I know exactly what it is. That's not one that I necessarily ventured near.
Okay.
I just know it's across from the zoo and near Colonial.
I'd like to be at the zoo. That's one of the great zoos in the country. I think there's the San Diego Zoo and the Fort Worth Zoo is second. And then Cameron Park, the Waco Zoo's third, I would say, in the country. Do y'all
I think
have
I'd like
yeah.
Colonial.
Oh yeah, well, Colonial's nice, but it's really nicest during the Colonial when there's all fun things to get into and all that. But yeah, Colonial's great. I'm sure you've slipped on one of those Colonial jackets at some point just to kind of see what it feels like. I could see you doing that. All right, well, hey, do stop by the Lake Highlands Tailgate. I'll tell you the number. I'll tell you exactly where it is. We'll probably be there. Mosley time. There's almost no shot I arrive before 3. But there'll be a ton of people you recognize. And so I'll find out what the spot is, and I'll let you know well in advance. And so duck in there if you get a chance, okay?
Will do.
Okay, and I'm very proud of you. I get excited when you're like on Feinbaum and, and I know I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna graduate from the Mosley show. We won't be able to find him, but sure enough, you were willing to do it today. And have a great evening. And by the way, watch out for that soccer situation down there. I know Aggies beat Texas, but I'm a little worried about that head coach. Okay, we won't get too far into that, but I do not know if Coach G. Do we think he's going to hold on?
Well, I play at a city league soccer team down here that we are defeated completely this season. So I thought you were maybe talking about that, not necessarily Aggie soccer. Yeah, it's rough going over there at Ellis Field. We'll have to see how that goes. They can't seem to put the ball in the net, which is key tenet of soccer. So I think that is something they're going to need to straighten out in the next 4 games, or else it's going to be a rough offseason for that program. But yeah, we'll be sure to chat on Tuesday more about my soccer team, because I think that's
I want to hear more about it. I am aware there's one young woman that apparently, young lady on the team that makes a lot of goals in practice, but Coach G refuses to insert her in games, which is an odd strategy. But hey, if you're going to go down fighting, I guess. I don't know, but very strange. Trav, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
There he goes. Travis Brown on the Mosley show. And we're always excited to have him, and does a great job. KBTX, he does TV. And then he's got a lot going on, and he writes for them, and he's really been recognized as one of the top A&M insiders in the country, and that's why Paul Feinbaum had him on yesterday. Feinbaum now appearing back on ESPN after the brief ban ended. So probably more Aggie stuff than the great Scotty Swingler wanted today, but it's appropriate. Scotty, let's I got a couple more things to bounce off of you, and then we'll say goodbye and get everybody ready for the holiday. Let's do that next.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story, The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
All right, we do have some major college games tonight, in addition to all these great high school games. And so, Scotty, you'll be looking at a lot of this. We've got that Indiana game tomorrow, and Indiana and Oregon. And
Hoosiers!
Scotty is maybe even going to have some Indiana gear on for that. And then, of course, coming up soon, the Bears and Hoosiers will get it on in an exhibition game. By the way, Scotty, I mean, now that I think about it, today is Friday. At 4:00 today, over at the golly, can I make it down there in time? Just race down there real quick. I can see a lot of it. Grand Canyon. In fact, it's free, Scotty. I mean, you may, have time with your daughter or friends or something lined up. But if you don't have anything on your plate, you just get right over there.
I got a shift today, though, Matt. I'm gonna go.
I don't know what that means, but I if I were you, I'd call in sick.
You're right. You've
right
never worked a shift in your life, have you? You always had a nice, cushy radio job.
Well, radio shifts. That's right. No, by the way, I was a long-time sports writer, sir. I paid my dues. Man, these games tonight. I want to bounce a couple of these things off of you. Scotty Swingler, USF and UNT. It's a big night. It's a big night for UNT. In fact, it's a big night for both teams because they are, from a group of five standpoint, in the running for a playoff spot. Now, Scotty, without looking, and I can tell you because I have it in front of me, what would you guess the line is on this? And I'm looking at all the different sports books. So I'll give you kind of the consensus line, what it opened up as and what it is now. Who do you think's favored in this one?
USF. I already
Okay.
looked, so
Okay.
I'm cheating a little bit.
All right. Well,
you can tell all the viewers.
Then you know that it opened UNT at 2.5. It's kind of hovered right there, and still in a lot of places it's 2.5. It's come down to 2. It's some sports books, but that's going to be a good one because in a neutral, that would be a pick 'em. At USF, they'd be favored by 2.5 to 3. This is going to be fun.
Well,
and yeah, I mean, UNT has a fun quarterback who's an interesting story.
Tremendous.
He's got an international background. USF, that coach has done a great job there.
Fun quarterback there too, by the way.
What's that?
Fun quarterback there
okay.
too. Byron Brown's fun to watch as well.
All right. Well, and that game will be on. I've got that listed as a 6:30 start.
Listen, and it's a huge game for a few reasons. One, you already alluded to it. The winner of this game could have an inside track to the college football playoff as the Group of 5 team. Boise State, I believe, still hovering in that conversation as well, but they already have a loss this season. It's going to be fascinating. And by the way, both of these head coaches, both of them, pretty hot names in terms of some of these big power forward jobs that are opening up. And this could be a catalyst that gets one of them a call from one of these big power forward positions. It's just really intriguing on multiple fronts. And North Texas gave students an afternoon off class today to get to the game. The game, you sent me the tweet, I think 2 or 3 days ago. The game was already sold out. So Denton and the community and the student body showing up, it should be a ton of fun in North Texas today.
All right. I was trying to decide if I go to the free Baylor game or I go out to Denton tonight.
Oh, man.
Or I go to Jesuit as they host the mighty Lake Highlands Wildcats.
Well, I will tell you, I know it's the least personal connection for you, but I suspect this UNT-USF game is going to be a little more tense than those other two options in front of you.
Yeah, although Grand Canyon, I mean, that's brother on brother crime. That's
yeah, but in the Drew family, is brother on brother ever tense? They're gonna be talking about how amazing each other's programs are and how amazing the other star player is, and it's gonna be all smiles and hugs and love.
You think they'll do like a normal post game press conference and like have the reporters there and all that?
Maybe they'll do one together. Maybe Scott and Bryce. Maybe Scott and Bryce will take the podium together and talk about how great Jesus Christ is. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think they both certainly would profess to believe that and enjoy talking about that. Now, Scotty, I always am drawn to games to which the line has big movement.
Yep.
These are good teams. This game is at Missouri.
Yep.
About that with Travis Brown, about A&M having to play Missouri. Bama goes to Missouri this weekend. These are kind of one-offs that are interesting games that break out from time to time. Like Alabama never goes to Georgia. Well, they finally did last weekend, and Bama got the job done. This game opened with Bama as a 6.5-point favorite. As we sit here today, that's 11 a.m. Game tomorrow. I assume like ABC would have that, right? That game has moved to a 3-point. Bama now favored by 3. Mizzou catching 3 at home. Ooh, man. Scotty, here's the deal. You could argue that Alabama has the hottest quarterback in the country.
You could.
He's playing great. Mizzou has 2 big-time running backs. They actually have a really good running game.
Yeah, they do.
With a decent, but the run game sets up the pass game. They only have really one explosive player, I would say, on some home run plays. So that I would say their passing game is not the most explosive in the country. But that quarterback, Pribula, he's pretty good.
He can play.
Bo Pribula's pretty good. Who you like in this one?
Man, so what that line movement tells you is a bunch of people are cashing in on Missouri. I like Alabama. I was utterly surprised in a good way by not only how well they played against Georgia, but then again against Vanderbilt. They've beaten 2 very, very good teams here in a row. And I know every college football team evolves year to year, Matt. But I feel like, and I hate to do this to your Aggies, but I'm going to say it about A&M too, because it's true. I feel like with both A&M and Missouri for the last 3 or 4 seasons, we fall in love early in the season, and then they drop 3 or 4 games by the end of the season. So to me, Missouri winning this game would be a huge statement about the state of that program and where they're headed. I think Alabama's going to get it done. There's a reason they opened as a 6-point favorite, Matt. Like Ty Simpson's going to be the best player in this football game. Ryan Williams, of course, we know what he can do. I think Kalen DeBoer this season thus far is responding quite well to this pressure that's on him after last year's debacle. I think the Crimson Tide roll here.
All right, and let's both give our predictions on OU Texas. I don't know why. Okay, part of this is I'm kind of rooting for this. Never root for the Horns. I root for failure at every turn. But I do sometimes root for certain players. I'd love to see Arch have a great game. I really would. And they have, I mean, he played better at Florida. This is a neutral. This is a great crowd. This is a massive crowd. This is a true neutral game because it's half the stadium is crimson and cream and half the stadium is burnt orange. And it doesn't matter if the teams are good or not that on that specific year. The Sooners happen to be a top 10 team. The Longhorns are not ranked right now. Longhorns now are catching a point. OU favored by 1 in this. And what Vegas is showing where this line opened up with last Sunday blows my mind because I still don't. I mean, okay, I'm not even going to get into that because it almost looks wrong. But right now it's a point. I got the Longhorns winning this game, and I do think it'll be nip and tuck. I don't. One of the reasons is while it'll be fun to see them out there, and I wanted to see the Sooners at their best. I don't think we're going to see Mateer at his best. This is a tough thing to ask somebody to do with that significant of an injury to a broken bone in his throwing hand. And I know that I'm not exactly stepping out on a limb here because it's such a close line, but I got the Horns winning 20-17.
You've got the score right, Matt, but you've got the wrong team. There's no way. Listen, the Arch Manning gets his victory here would be a great story for the week. It's not going to happen, dude. And you talk a lot about Mateer, but what we're not talking about is Brent Venables being one of the better defensive coordinators in the sport, defensive minds. And then this Oklahoma defense has been outstanding. They're 5-0, largely on the back of that defense. I know John Mateer has been great. That defense has been the catalyst to the turnaround this season. Arch has not yet proven that he can complete passes consistently against a good defense. I think he completed less than 50% of his passes against UTEP. So, again, I don't root against the kid, and I'm not even like you. I don't root against Texas necessarily. I have much less inherent hatred for Texas than some of these other Texas schools. But I don't see any scenario where even if Mateer can't go, Oklahoma's defense gives up much to this Texas team. So I wasn't going to say 20-17. What I was going to say was 21-17. I'll take Oklahoma. I do agree with you. I think first team to 20 wins this game.
Okay, there it is. And then the last game I'll give is I'm going to give you a pick here, and I'm going to make some people some money. Jayhawks go out to Lubbock. It's Texas Tech, like homecoming. It's a blackout. It's everything. It's like, hey, come celebrate us. We've already won the conference. The conference goes through us. It's pretty obvious. We outspend everybody. OU and Texas are gone, to spending all their money elsewhere. We own this conference. I kind of like Kansas. I wish I had the guts to pick Kansas to win this game.
But you're not going to.
No. But I am. The spread on this game has stayed the same. Tech by 14. So Kansas catching 14 on the road. I do like the Jayhawks to cover the 14. And I really want, like, I'll totally regret not picking Kansas to win because there's something that tells me Kansas pulls this off because Tech is ready for the slaughter. There's way too much hype. There's way too much stuff for a team that really hasn't. They've played well, but they haven't done anything yet. They really haven't. And the program hasn't done anything yet. And yet they're being celebrated like they've already accomplished something. I think this is a trouble spot for Texas Tech. I've got Kansas covering the 14. I do have Tech winning, sadly.
It's a great thought. Tech is going to drop some games somewhere. I don't think they make it through this regular season undefeated, and Kansas is certainly a team that could defeat them. Remember, Jalen Daniels is quietly kind of becoming the quarterback we thought he was 2 years ago. He's top 2 or 3, top 4 in most quarterback statistics in the conference. Just doesn't quite have the buzz that like a guy like Sawyer Robertson does. But I like that take. I think I agree with you. I think Kansas will definitely cover and could win this game. I think it will be a pretty offensive matchup here, back and forth, both offenses humming. But I think I agree with you. It's hard to pick against Texas until they actually drop one. But if they drop one, this is one they might.
I wish Sawyer had more buzz. Did you see that Jordan Reed put out the top 15 draft guys?
No,
Jordan Reed, ESPN. Yeah, check it out. And I'm just, as you do when anybody does that kind of thing, you're like, okay, we're Sawyer, and you're 15 down, no Sawyer. And it's like Hoover is whatever Hoover was. It was either 12 or 15 draft quarterbacks.
Well, Sawyer's better than Hoover. I think we will see that next week. Can I give you 2 more games? I want to hear your thoughts on 2 more.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think the most important game of the day, and it might be the best regular season game of the year with what things look like right now. Indiana going to Oregon. I'm only looking at ESPN Bet, so I'm not looking at all these aggregate lines you're looking at. But right now, ESPN Bet has Oregon as a 7.5-point favorite. And I get it because that might be the best program in the country right now. But I struggle to think, and I know Indiana burned me last year when they went to Ohio State, but I don't know that I would bet Oregon with 7.5 as the line.
Okay, I like it. And by the way, I'd like it to happen. I really would like Indiana to compete. We have yet to see the Fighting Signettis truly compete and keep a game really close. I mean, I know in the playoff, I guess it was relatively close, but with one of the great programs. And we're talking Ohio State, Notre Dame. Can't remember. Have they played?
I think they lost. I think they lost to Penn State last year as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that one. I remember the scores of the that 38-15 they lost to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And he'd been doing a lot of talking leading into that. But hey, it never keeps Signetti from talking. If I had to bet it, and so that's a good head-to-head for us. You're going to take Indiana to cover the 7.5.
Yes.
I'm going to take Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon there, and I think you're leading with your heart there because you love these Hoosiers. I'm going to take, not just because I want to go against you, although that's nice.
But let me tell you, Matt.
I'm going to take Oregon to cover the 7.5.
Let me just tell you, I know it's not apples to apples. I know we're talking apples to oranges here. That 40-50 plus margin against Illinois told me something about this Indiana team. I thought that game might have told me Illinois was overrated, and then they've come out and played really well since that game because they got their butts kicked. But Indiana putting up 63 on Illinois was different than anything we saw last year. And I think this Mendoza kid, I really liked Curtis Rourke, who was their quarterback last year. I think this Mendoza kid is different. Right now, the number 2 quarterback in the NFL draft, if you look at projections. Okay. The other game that I think is so interesting, Matt, and Baylor fans should keep their eyes on this one because it's last week's opponent and next week's opponent. TCU at Kansas State. TCU favored by 1.5. This game screams upset to me, but I really don't know which direction I would go if I was betting on it.
Yeah, I would pick K-State just because I do think no one circles the wagons like Chris Kleiman. I don't trust this TCU team, especially on the road, and I don't trust Kansas State either. I mean, the biggest issue is they cannot keep that running back healthy, and he's already out for this game.
He's out again. Yeah,
is that Dylan Edwards? Yeah, that's a bad one. Although I like that receiver, that his helmet came off against the Bears.
I wonder if they practiced that this week. If they practice him tightening his chin strap and, keeping it in position.
That was a big play. Didn't the Bears held them to a field goal on that?
And it could have been the biggest play of the game, actually, because you're right. Like, that held Kansas State to a field goal and Baylor was able to win the game at the end. But you know what I saw? I saw 2 reactions from Kansas State fans on Twitter. They were so funny, the dissonance. One reaction was pissed at the officials and the rule and like, how is this the rule? Baylor player rips off his helmet and it ends the play and it would have been a touchdown. And I think as a casual fan, that might have been my reaction as well. But then I saw another set of reactions, Matt, and I saw at least 4 or 5 Kansas State accounts post this. Apparently this happens almost every game. And they were actually saying, why does Jace Brown keep doing this? Why won't the man put on his helmet correctly? Remember, he had actually lost it like earlier in the game against Baylor. That was the second time his helmet fell off in that game. Apparently, he's lost his helmet almost every game this season. So I saw a different set of Kansas State fans that instead of blaming the officials or blaming the rules, we're blaming the player. Tighten your freaking helmet because you cost your team 4 points by not properly putting your helmet on.
I've got a theory on this. Hear me out. I think players that love their hair, and he's got great hair. He's got like huge hair.
Like Matt Mosley.
Thank you. But I think players with great hair love to have their helmet pop off. I think you could even make that argument with Avery Johnson. And so I think there is a purposeful loose helmet, and I think a couple of times a game they liked it to pop off. And you have to admit that looked pretty cool to see a guy with a nice big afro or whatever Chase's hair was doing. It looked kind of cool to see him racing into the end zone with no helmet on.
If he's trying to look cool but lost his team 4 points, and I was a Kansas State fan, I'd tell him to put his freaking helmet on. Tighten up that chin strap, Bubba. We don't need you costing us wins for your locks, okay? So your theory might be onto something there, Matt. But that's if true, that is absurd.
But I'm the opposite. I almost always have the helmet on. Like I sometimes, just to try to look more presentable on camera, I'll wash the hair, but I like the cap on at almost all times.
Me too.
I don't think you can really accuse me of doing too much. The thing I'm most excited about though is doing a pregame from like a log cabin village. It'll be like, I think we're going to love it so much that Bill and Vera what are their names? No, Bill and Vera Daniels. All those old timey things at Baylor on the campus over there on the off University. There's a village back there of like old looking things. Do you know what I'm talking about, Scotty? Did you ever see that?
Matt, I went there for an elementary school field trip. They let us have some sarsaparilla.
Yeah, they'll do that, and they'll let you have a little bit of whatever, but. Moonshine. No, they don't do that on the Baylor campus, but I'd love to do something from over there. In fact, one time we gave Governor Bill Daniels and Miss Vera a ride from their fountain that used to be named after them. Is that fountain gone now? I think they took that fountain out, sadly. From their fountain or some homecoming. And I thought, man, you talk about royalty. I thought they were a bigger deal than like having Charles and Diana. Like I thought it was like having the King and Queen of England as a kid. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got Bill and Vera Daniels in the his brother Price Daniel was the governor of Texas back in the day. Okay, Scotty, I'm glad I got us out early. We got out so early for the holiday. God, 3:02. Are they even doing a show? Are David and them doing a show 3 to 6 today? Are they taking the holiday off? Goodness gracious, they love a holiday. It is in Brazos Landing. Thank you, Landing. Thank you for what you do. We love you. I love having all my 4K technology back. I got my Joe Rogan mic back. I'm back. I got my Lake Highlands gear on. This is going to be a great weekend. And all I want to do is just be on the couch. And what am I going to do, Scotty? I'm going to go to College Station and watch a football game. Oh, can I just have one weekend off? Thanks for everybody. Thank you, Brazos Landing, Claude, and Becky Lindsay. Thank you. You are incredible. We love you guys. Ascension Providence, Central National Bank, Cherry Johnson, Sigmund James Law Firm, one of the strongest in the industry, Schmaltz's, and then soon, well, we got big time wealth management on the way. We'll be joining the Mosley Show. And again, Scotty, I'm sorry, you have to get mad at me real quick. I got one more thing. Alan Samuels. Oh my gosh, get over to Alan Samuels and take advantage. Nobody does the holidays like Alan Samuels. And I had one thing to share with you on Alan Samuels as we say goodnight. Listen to this. Drive into fall at Alan Samuels, powerful Ram trucks, adventure-ready Jeeps, and the new Dodges. They have the right ride for you. Get over to Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Come by and let's be friends. Okay, let's be friends throughout the rest of the weekend. Somebody's about to enter my studio here. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday at 5 o'clock straight up.